What's going on, guys, and welcome to Formula 7 Realistic. 1 second. What's going on, guys, and welcome to Formula 7 Realistic. We are here for the season finale here in Abu Dhabi. Thank you so much, Banana, for the sub. 28 in total, 11 months in a row. Smashing it. So, we jump straight into Realistic. Let me just... I don't want all the drivers to have to hear me, but I don't know how to bring that up. I don't know how to bring that up. To mute everybody because they'll probably have to listen to me. So here we go. This is it for sprint qualifying here in Abu Dhabi. Some of the drivers already out on track. Go. What's that? Go to settings and then to audio. Why? What have I done? Don't know why I'm supposed to be doing that. Let's go and search. Ah, okay, right. So settings. Will that affect anything though? Audio. Push to talk on. Mute by default. So everyone can still hear me, yeah? So Jabba sets the fastest lap in the Alpine. He is number 1 and Formula Rai is number 2. We've got a yellow flag already. So AMS Reese, no time set yet, but the Ferrari fastest lap by Lewis W already coming through with a 1:23.3 here in Abu Dhabi for the sprint. So pole position at the moment, Lewis W in that McLaren. Sorry, let me get rid of a few things. I'm not liking this, so I want to get rid of that. And that's about it, I think. Because I want the track map. So one of the McLarens is coming through as well. I think that is B right. It is B right. So the championship contender coming through down towards the line. And he's just about to start his flying lap. I think he's currently in P11 he is, so he's out on the medium compound tyres. We've got a couple of drivers on laps. You're talking about like Mitch in the Sauber. You've got the Mercedes and the Ferraris. The other Ferrari coming through. And Dennis, no time set. Fanfinus at 1:22.6. So he goes fastest as the Sauber comes around turn 15. So AMS Mirko is quickest at the moment. And then comes the Sauber, and he goes up to P6. Formula Rai and Jabra down, Nimble in P8. Sorry, not Nimble, Super Turbo. Just need to, sorry, I need to get rid of it. I forgot how to do it because I've not been streaming at all. So, the Aston Martin driver of Deadly that came to the line then, and a 1:23.7. So 6 minutes of qualifying to go. So Deadly in the Aston Martin going up to P5. Jay's in the Haas up to P8. B right does go fastest, a 1:22.4. So the championship contender goes quicker, and then Mirko just behind him. Look how close that is. And less than a tenth of a second. The whole grid is extremely closely matched. And Abu Dhabi never disappoints. Dennis goes quickest in sector 3, the Ferrari driver. He's currently in P3, so around turn 5. A couple of the drivers coming down towards the line. You've got Jabra, I think, in the Alpine, who's also on a lap. He is coming around turn 14. So can he put anything? The Alpine is such a tricky car to drive. It's been really tough, and he loses the back end, snaps it down to the line, doesn't improve, stays at P13. We do have another McLaren, that is Lewis W, I think, just heading into the pit lane. It is a clear, dry race. Evening, Mr. Reese, how are we? So 5 minutes to go here in qualifying. And then we shall go racing. So the Aston Martin into the pit lane. Mirko's into the pit. So a lot of the drivers now just heading in, getting ready for that final run here in the sprint race. So you've got the Sauber of Nick, the Sauber of Mitch, Jay's in the Haas, Super Turbo, Jabba, Formula Right, Nimblecat in the pits. You've got Sam the Man. Is Sam the Man on a lap? Here he is in the Red Bull. So you've got the Racing Bull of Nimble exiting the pit lane. Sam the Man is on a lap though. So the Red Bull driver coming around turn 14. And he is using the DRS, so I think, is he on a flyer? I can't seem to tell. He is burning that DRS around turn 16, down towards the start-finish line. And Sam the Man goes P7, so he does improve on the mediums. Has he got enough time to get in and get onto them soft compounds? We shall see. Mirko is still in at P2. Dennis in P3. Fanfurness in P4. Fanfurness will not like the sights of that. Remember, 2 points separate them in the championship. In fact, I will get the standings up so you can all see. So, what's going on here? Where the bloody hell is Discord? Why is it doing that? Oh my god. I don't know what's happened to this computer. It's not even bringing up Discord. So I can't bother downloading it. Right. Okay. So we go back on board with the drivers. Be right currently, as we said, on pole position. Sam the Man just said a lot. You've got Deadly in the Aston Martin. So this is what it's all about for the drivers. Epic OJ, I've only been asking for invites for 10 minutes. Well, you didn't start messaging until like 6 minutes past when you said, oh, I didn't realise there was a race. So, Be Right currently on pole position. 2 minutes to go. Here comes Deadly to start his final run for this sprint qualifying. At the moment, it is Be Right with the fastest lap. No eliminated drivers at the moment, so Be Right with the fastest lap of this qualifying session. Jeffy Boy not happy with the blocking going on for the drivers. I think there is a Racing Bull. I think that is Nimble. It is Nimble. There was a little bit of problems there, and Nimblecat does come through into P16. He goes. I think Super Tuber is also on the lap. I think the Sauber is not. He is not on the lap. He's just letting the traffic go through. So Jay's Super Turbo in the Williams. He's definitely got a bit of traffic through turn 9 and 10 we go. And it didn't look like the racing line there from the Williams. 1 minute remaining here in Abu Dhabi for the season finale. Thanks, Reese. Appreciate it, man. So on board with the Williams around turn 15 in towards turn 16. Back onto the throttle towards the line. You can see him just holding on. And it's P8 for Super Turbo. So we go on board with some of the drivers. Everybody is coming to the line to get that lap in. Fanfurness in P4 has gone fastest sector 1. So we ride on board with the championship leader by 2 points going into the final race of the season, a sprint race here in Abu Dhabi. Mirko has gone fastest sector 2, so we'll ride on board with Mirko, the other Mercedes just in front of Fanfurness. We've got 7 seconds to go. This is it. The drivers are leaving everything out all on the track. They've got nothing else to give. So Mirko coming around turn 16, down towards the line we go. Where is Mirko going to put it? He puts it on pole, but for how long? We're back on board with the other Mercedes. The fastest lap to Mirko. And then the other Mercedes of Fanfinus. What can he do? He's leading the championship by 2 points. AMS Reese goes even quicker. They have hit the checkered flag. Reese in the Ferrari goes quicker here at the Yas Marina circuit. Fanfinus goes P3. What about the McLaren? There's going to be another Ferrari coming through first. That is Dennis in that other Scuderia round turn 16. Here we go to the line. And Dennis goes P2. It's a Ferrari 1-2. Unbelievably. B right in the McLaren is going to be just behind his teammate. Lewis W goes P6. He cannot improve. But B right's battle is with Fanfinus. Around turn 16 we go. The Aston Martin comes to the line, goes P7. B right will go P3 and he will out qualify both Mercedes drivers. You've got Sam the Man in P9. The other Aston Martin drivers come through. Sam the Man is down to P10. That is it here in Abu Dhabi. What a qualifying session for the sprint race. This is going to be absolute fireworks. Let's go through the starting grid. It is AMS Reese that will start on pole position here at the Yas Marina circuit. Hackmore, it's a Ferrari lockout on the front row. B right in the McLaren gets first blood in front of Fanfinus, and he will be in. Sorry, let me just mute that. I need that for clipping. Why is that doing that? Sorry. Anyway, Mirko, Fanfinus. So Mirko is in front of his teammate. So that is going to, if it stayed like that in the sprint, it would be even on points going into the final race. Incredible. 0.001 between the two Ferraris is unbelievable. Here we go. We are ready to go racing. Oh, what a good one this is going to be. I can't wait. Who was in the Sauber? Oh, it was Nick, weren't it, in P11? Sorry, I'm just updating the standings as well. JH, or Mitch. Who was in the Alpine, Formula Right, and Hasbras, weren't it? I've not got Hasbras. What's his name again? It's not classed as Hasbras. What's it called as? Jabba, that's it. Brilliant. There we go. That's it for the standings for the sprint. That was extremely close. So we do have formation lap on as well. So just bear that in mind. That we will be there ASAP. Thank you for the follow, Rebellion. I appreciate it, man. Oh, it's asking me to log in with a QR code for Discord. So once I'm logged into that, we should be all right. So for this sprint race, you can see the top 7 are starting on hard. You've got Epic OG on the mediums, then the rest on hard, and then the bottom 5 all on mediums. So a little bit of play in the tyre compounds here. This is I can see this being an incredible season finale. 2 points separate B right and Fanfinus. May the best driver win. That is what it's all about. So I'm just going to bring up, in case you were wondering what the standings look like, the Drivers' Championship. Right, so they're all lining up. That is what the Drivers' Championship look like. So, oh no. Right, move that a minute. So here we go. This is it for the season finale here in Abu Dhabi for round 19 for Formula 7 Realistic. And they all queue up. Here we go. This is it for F7R, powered by Sim Racing Setups. And it is! Lights out and away we go. The two Ferraris get a really good start, but Reese is just off the line quicker. Here comes B. Wright, wheel to wheel with the Scuderia, just edges ahead. The other Ferrari just behind, not able to get through. B. Wright already up to P2. Dennis is there. What about Fanfinus in the Mercedes, the championship leader? 2 points separate him and B. Wright in the McLaren. Down in towards turn 5, but it's an unbelievable start for B. Wright, who's up to P2. Fanfinus stays in P4 doing what he needs to do. Mirko's already got a warning. Track limit for Maxi Block. It's a bit of a carnage behind us. Jeffrey Boy now trying to overtake on Epic OJ, the Red Bull, on the Aston Martin up the inside of turn 6. Oh, he goes deep and the other Red Bull nearly off the track, and that nearly ends in disaster. But Fanfinus in the Mercedes still chasing down that Ferrari. Epic OJ does have front wing damage. So what a great start, really clean, and that is deadly in the Aston Martin. There's up the inside of the American. That is the Sauber off the track of Nick. That is Super Trooper in the Williams that is going to go the long way round. And the Sauber just pushing his way through. Nothing that Super Turbo can do about that one. Formula I with a track limit warning. Fanfinus only 2 tenths behind that Ferrari. Are we going to see any overtaking? Resets the fastest lap. 9 laps to go here in this sprint race in Abu Dhabi for the season finale. This is what it all boils down to. This is what racing is supposed to be like. And this is why we all love it. B. Wright sets the fastest sector 1 time. But we're on board with Fanfinus. What about Jeffrey Boy in that Red Bull? On the back of the Aston Martin. And AMS Mirko looks like he's under investigation for something. Into the slipstream we go. And that is the Red Bull of Jeffrey Boy that moves through on that damaged Aston Martin. And what about the other Red Bull as well? The 2 Aston Martins and the 2 Red Bulls are really scrapping it out in the midfield of this pack. You've got the Sauber of Nick in P11. And he might even try and eye up a move here. Now here comes Nick in that Sauber down in towards turn 9. He just eases off the throttle. Will he try and sneak up the inside? He will try, but he's just not got that speed to try and make that move work. Here comes Super Turbo once again. What about B. Wright on the race leader? We've not seen much of these 3, but it is Ferrari, McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, and not a single driver involved in any incidents. This is what racing should be. But that is B. Wright setting the fastest lap of the race. He's half a second in front of Dennis, who's just starting to drop off ever so slightly. We know how good that McLaren can be around Abu Dhabi. He's won all of his championships barring 1 here in Abu Dhabi. So he knows this track like the back of his hand. But I tell you who also knows this track, the former realistic world champion of Fanfinus in that Mercedes. You know what I mean? He's not shy to a championship. He knows how to deal with the pressure. He knows what to do in this sort of position. So do not count this man out. He is the championship leader for a reason. There's only 2 points separate them. McLaren getting very close to that Ferrari. 3 tenths is the gap. Dennis has closed in. So has Fanfinus. You've got Lewis W still there. Is anything going to happen towards the end of this sprint race? Here comes the Ferrari of Dennis. He's going to look for a move up towards turn 9. He sets the fastest sector 2, and then you have AMS Mirko in the Mercedes. He's currently in P6. Then you've got Epic OJ just battling it out. The Red Bull and the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin is through. That is Epic OJ with an epic move. Can Sam the Man try and return the favour as we come through turn 12 and 13? Down in towards 14 at Latifi corner. You've got Mitch and Nick, the two teammates, the two Saubers. And this is getting very tasty between the pair of them. Mitch is nearly off the track. Nick has to concede. And the Sauber mechanics will be looking through their fingers at that one. So that is racing at its best. So back on board with the leaders. It is AMS Reese that leads in at P1. The Ferrari driver has not put a foot wrong here. Yeah, exactly, Bjorn. So the Ferrari driver has not put a foot wrong. Sorry, I was just shutting the door. What about B Right? He's going to have that DRS, but he's not going to go for any sort of move at the moment. Epic OJ might do, though, in the Aston Martin. No, a little bit too far behind, and his teammate of Deadly. That is the two Saubers going at it again, and that is Nick that is through on Mitch. And these two having a real contest at the back. So, B Right in the McLaren, edging ever so closer to Reese. And he does have a considerable bit more DRS. Is that part of the plan? So the aerial views there, absolutely phenomenal. The fastest lap, AMS Reese, a 1:25.6. That's wrong, by the way. So Formula I with his second corner cut needs to be careful now. That black and white flag is out. So remember, all these drivers started on the hards. Epic OJ started on the mediums. That, I think, will become a problem by the end of this race. The mediums are already on sort of 25 to 30%. The hards are on very similar tyre wear, actually, which is surprising at this stage. 5 laps in of the sprint race. So Dennis, Fanfinus, Lewis W, Mirko just staying in position. I think we're not going to see much in the sprint race, but I tell you when we are going to see stuff, and that is Epic OJ being passed by Deadly. So yeah, their mediums are falling off pretty rapidly. Maximok in the Haas, and then you've got Nick, Formula I, Nimblecat up to P15. Jay's is out. When did that happen? Jay is out in the pit lane, it looks like. So Reese still leading, the Ferrari driver on lap 5 of 10. I don't think we'll see much action until the main race, and that's when strategies will come into play. That's when teammates might think about the pit stops and thinking about holding up drivers, and that is where the real drama begins. So stay tuned, everybody, because this is going to be an unmissable Grand Prix. I can guarantee you that. So that was a Sauber at the back. That was Mitch and then Jabba. So on lap 6, it is Reese that leads to be right in P2, to Dennis in P3. You've got Fanfinus in P4 in that Mercedes, Lewis W P5, Mirko P6, Jeffy Boy in at P7, Sam the Man in P8, Deadly P9 and Epic OJ P10. We're going to run back on board with the leaders. Remember that DRS wide open and well into play in Abu Dhabi. And down in towards turn 6, he just rides the curb, and he is a lot closer this time. But Reese is so good on the exit. He's just brilliant when it comes to getting out of the chicane. And look, then B Right starts to close the gap on the straight, but Reese is so good at that car control, and he's showing that once again here at the Yas Marina circuit. Jeffy Boy chasing down his teammate of Sam the Man. And the two Red Bulls discussing under them visors what's going on. Fanfinus knows that he needs to make a move. If it stays like this, they will be even on points going into the feature race. Even on points. I don't think we've ever had drivers go into the final race dead even on points. I know we've had drivers go in there a point difference, or evens. That takes some doing. But if it stays like this, that's exactly what we'll see. So we are on lap 7 of 10. We ride on board with Fanfitness in that Mercedes as we go down the straight. And you can see that McLaren bridging the gap towards Reese, but he's still not able to make any sort of attempt at an overtake just yet. Around turn 8, back onto the throttle, and you can see him opening that rear wing and activating that DRS, but he's not using any type of battery. He is saving it here, Pampinas. Mitch taking his second track limit penalty. Sam the man in the Red Bull also closing that gap to his teammate of Jeffy Boy, and then Max Bob in at P12. You've got the Aston Martin of Deadly, and then the Aston Martin of Epicozy. But it is Reese that still leads in that Ferrari around turn 15. And you can see back onto the throttle, and he's just pedal to the metal. He started to recharge that battery here, Reese. And then you just ease off the throttle, ease on the brake, back onto the throttle. He doesn't really touch the brake pedal again when he goes around the corner. He's flat out through turn 3 and down towards turn 4. And then he'll ease back off the throttle onto the brake pedal, eases off the brakes, back onto the throttle, and then he doesn't touch the brake pedal again. It's a really good racing from Reese. So DRS enabled for the Papaya. And this is where it all matters now in the remaining 2.5 laps of this sprint race. As we said, the championship is separated between B-Right and Fanfitness. Fanfitness leads by 2 points in front of B-Right. As it stands, they would be dead even going into the feature race. So around turn 9, Dennis Fanfitness. Mirko has not been of any help here that I think Fanfitness might have hoped for. And there goes Dennis. He is looking for a move. He's all over the rear diffuser of that McLaren in front. The McLaren holds him off. And he's not able to do anything. I think Lewis's job here is just to hold up Mirko and not let him be involved in this. 2 laps to go. Are the drivers going to go for anything? Fanfitness is the driver to watch here, the Mercedes man. Even if he can just edge in front of Dennis, he will be the championship leader still going into the feature race. But if it stays like this, as we started, it will be dead even. The only gainer here is B-Right, who overtook that Ferrari off the race start. So B-Right in the McLaren, closing down towards that Ferrari of Reese. You've got a Sauber of Mitch, and he is going to be waving blue flags very shortly. Yeah, probably on the last lap. He is in AI. So Reese down towards turn 9. The McLaren very close. Here comes Dennis, only half a second. Fanfitness just the same. Mirko is now dropped. Baku's through. Mirko is through on Lewis W. I did not see that. So Lewis W has been overtaken by Mirko. I don't think it matters, because if it stays like this, the Constructors' champions are McLaren. So the McLaren team will be the Constructors' champions. So you can see that Sauber just getting out of the way. Well done to Mitch to see the drivers coming. Yellow flag, that's fine. Track is clear. So off we go for the final time in this sprint race for the season finale. Dennis picks up another track limit. That's 2 now. A black and white flag for him. It is Reese that leads. B-Right in P2. Then you've got Dennis in the Ferrari in P3. You've got Fanfitness in the Mercedes in P4 chasing him down. He needs that extra position, but he's had 10 laps to do so. He's not been able to do it. He needs to bridge that gap. Back on board with the P2 driver of B-Right. Reese is leading. He's got a lot more battery than the McLaren. It's going to be very difficult from here for the Papaya to pass. The Scuderia holds on. And the red and orange light up the circuit under the lights here in Abu Dhabi, and it is not going to be enough. The McLaren is nowhere near close enough to make the attempt. It looks like he's going to have to stay P2. Then you've got Dennis just holding off Fanfinish. You've got Deadly making a move in P10. And that was Super Turbo through on Epic OJ. Mirko's 2 seconds behind his teammate of Fanfinish. Here comes Epic OJ as well, and Maxi Block. But it is the leader of Reese doing what he does best and leading the race. A little snap through turn 15. Be Right will take P2, so Reese is going to come through to win the sprint race here in Abu Dhabi. Be Right takes P2, Dennis in P3, Fanfidus takes P4. The points are dead even moving into the feature race. They are absolutely dead even on points as we move to the feature. This is incredible stuff. McLaren, you are the Constructors' World Champions for Season 7 here in Formula 7 Realistic. What a performance, what a season, and what a drive. The two McLarens are crowned champions, but it is all down to the Drivers' Championship now. Sorry guys, I do apologise. So, there you have it. So, as we move on to the final race of the season, Fanfinus and B Right are on 330 points each. Fanfinus has had 6 race wins, B Right has had 4, B Right has had 15 podiums, and Fanfinus has had 13. It's all come down to this, 330 points apiece, and we move in to the feature race here in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, Nimba has seen that he had wing damage, really unfortunate. So, Formula Right, on and out lap. Just bear with me, guys. I was gonna try and get the live standings up, but Here's Formula I, who we ride on board with. He's going to take us around the first lap. And then we will move on to the feature race. How many wins will I have, Reese? You have 5 race wins. 6 for Fanfiners, 4 for B Right, 5 for you. I think it's the podiums, isn't it? Because you've had 8 podiums in total, but 5 race wins and 3 P2s, no P3s. But you also only did 16 races, whereas in Fanfiners did 18 and B Right did 17. Lewis W, 1 P1, 1 P2 and 1 P3. Consistency at its finest. The Alpine of Formula I, around turn 7 we go. I know, yeah, it is. So Formula I showing us around for the first time. 15 minutes to go here in qualifying. So a couple of the drivers are now out just for a little banker lap. Formula I, Mitch, Mirko, Nimble, Super Turbo, all on the way out. Mr. Reese has gifted a sub to be on. Thank you so much, Mr. Reese. Really appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Coming to the end of the season, that helps massively. Thank you. They've given... Jesus, Mr. Reese. They've given 31 subs into the channel. Thank you. I really appreciate that, Reese. Thank you to everybody, actually. It's been an amazing season. It's been... Super Turbo setting the fastest lap. It's been amazing in terms of how the league's grown, how the league's been, how the league's developed, and I can't wait to send all the trophies out to the drivers and see their faces and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I can't wait for them to send me the pictures of them holding them and all that sort of malarkey. So, and that stuff like that really does go a long way in helping. So Deadly in the Aston Martin is on a lap, 13.5 minutes to go. Down in towards turn 6. Oh, he's not on a lap. What about Sam the Man in the Red Bull? No, he backs out. Maximot in the Haas is on a lap. Mirko goes fastest, sector 1. Exactly that. Oh, did he pull out there? Maxibot looked like he slowed down just before the line. He would have been very close to being on the top. So Maxibot goes P3. Jabber in the other Alpine is just coming around sector 3. And there is a couple of drivers just in front. I think one of them being Jeffy Boy. So Mirko goes fastest, sector 2. So the Mercedes driver will ride on board and see what Mirko can do with his opening lap. I think this is where it's going to get really intense. Oh, Nathan, what's the plan for 26 since the game's a DLC? In terms of what? Mirko a 1:22.4, and that is a phenomenal lap from the Mercedes driver that will put him on provisional pole for the moment. So Sam the Man, he's still not on a lap, Sam, but I tell you who is, and that is Mitch. Jeffy Boy also in the Red Bull will be first. He's gone at purple sector 1. He won't be first, actually. Mitch will be first. So we still have a few drivers in the pit lane. We've got another Sauber. Has he invalidated it? He's kept it valid. He's run it wide, but he's kept it valid. Jay's in the Haas, just coming down the back straight. And Sam the Man is going to finally get a lap in. So is Mitch. So let's see what the Kick Sauber driver of Mitch can do. It is Mirko that is currently on provisional pole by 1.8 seconds, that's it. There's nobody else in one of the top teams that has set a lap. So Mitch will be next in the Sauber. I think Jeffy Boy in the Red Bull is just slightly ahead of him. So as they come around the final corner, and it is Jeffy Boy that goes P2, and then the Sauber of Mitch stays P16. So Jeffy Boy 9/10 off Mirko, so that was a really good lap by Mirko. Yellow flags waving, that's just the driver slowing down. Track is clear. So Reese is now on a lap, so the Ferrari of Reese, your sprint race winner. 10 minutes of qualifying to go, and it is AMS Reese that is in the lead. You can see him using that DRS, and he just hit the brake pedal there. Oh, he's backed out. He's backed out there, Reese. Maybe just warming himself up for the flyer. Epic OJ with his McDonald's Wi-Fi. I'm sure Epic OJ is from the UK as well. I don't know how his internet is that bad, unless he lives on like a canal boat or something. So come on, Epic OJ, get back in. Come on race. So Deadly up to P2, goes in front of Jeffy Boy. Jabba, Reese, Nick, Lewis W, Jays in the house. He's going to be next to the line. Where's he going to put it? He puts it P4. Jeffy Boy picks up a warning, and Jays is up to P4. So what about Reese? He will start his flying lap. Lewis W in the McLaren is already in front of him, going for his lap. Then you've got B right behind, and Dennis in the Ferrari. So all the big wigs now starting their lap. I don't think I've got you, Epic OJ. We'll have a look though. Oh, there you are. So Lewis W around the final corner we go, hits the apex, down to the line, and it is the McLaren that goes nowhere. He didn't set a lap. Here comes B right. Fanfness goes fastest, sector 1. B right also doesn't set a lap, so maybe just burning off a little bit of fuel. But Fanfness is on the lap. He's gone fastest, sector 1, so we're right on board with the joint championship leader. Yes, you heard that right. They are both on 330 points, leading into the final feature race of the season here in Abu Dhabi. And it is Fanfness that will draw first blood. His teammate is currently on pole position. This is where the Mercedes will need to tighten it up. This is where they'll need to work together if they want that Drivers' Championship. Reese goes quickest. He goes P1, a 1:22.0. 3.5 tenths quicker than AMS Mirko. Around turn 14 and in towards turn 15. And the Mercedes of Fanfness that has led the championship for many, many weeks comes down to the line, and Fanfness goes P3 less than 1/10 behind Mirko, his teammate. And then the other Ferrari of Dennis in that Scuderia. And the McLarens are just coming to the line. And B right goes P2, sets the fastest sector 3 time. So it is Reese that leads to B right, who is in front of both Mercedes. But here comes Dennis around turn 16 to the line. And Dennis goes quickest, a 1:22.032. And the Belgium / Albanian driver takes provisional pole here at the Yas Marina circuit. It is Scuderia on top once again. They are locking out the front row just as they did in sprint qualifying. So with 6 minutes to go, Ferraris are 1-2 again. Wow, this is getting very, very tasty. What about Nimble Cat in at P15? He's on a lap. He's in front. And he's not on a lap. I think he's just either on an in-lap or just saving that DRS for another run. Jabba. That is Nick still in the pit lane, so he's Epic OJ. So they're not going to improve. So as we expected, it is super close. A 1/10.5 separate the top three. And Mirko is on the pit exit. He's on his way out. With 5 minutes to go, he's not messing around. He wants to get in and out, get another lap done. That is what we like to see. So bear with me, guys. Sorry, bear with me, guys. 4 minutes to go in qualifying. Level on points is crazy, I know. Oh, shoot. What have I done? Oh, that's not just ended the stream. Bear with me. Bear with me. Are we back? Yes, we are back. Alright, so, sorry, I'm just having a look at something. So, here we go. On board with Mirko. He'll be the first of the final runners. Right, 1 second. I want this in a better position. Should that be bigger? Like that. And then like right across there like that. So, we ride on board with Mirko. He's gone fastest, sector 2. So, AMS Mirko in the Mercedes with just under 3 minutes to go. This is going to be his final run. We've got Dennis still in the pits, B Wright's in the pits, and Reese starting his flying lap around turn 14 and 15 for the Mercedes AMG Petronas driver in towards turn 16, down towards the line. The Italian driver goes P4. He does improve, but stays in position. And now it's 1.5 tenths between the top 4 drivers. Reese is just burning off that fuel, ready for that final run. He is just emptying the fuel out of that car. Very clever. Fanfinus is also doing the same thing. All of the drivers are pretty much just burning out that fuel there. So this is going to be extremely close. Is anybody on a lap at the moment? So the Williams 1.5 minutes to go. I don't think we've got anybody on a lap. Yeah, all the drivers are just burning the fuel. They want to get a move on here. So the Williams of Super Turbo will be the first of the final runners So this is it for the feature race qualifying here in Abu Dhabi for Formula 7 Realistic. Who is going to draw first blood? B. Ryan Fanfurness level on points, 330 each. As we head for the final time. And here in qualifying is where the drivers will find out where they will begin this Grand Prix. The Williams driver of Super Turbo coming down the DRS straight towards turn 7. So Fanfurness sets the fastest sector 1 time. That is what the Mercedes team principal will want to see. And look at this, Mirko is giving a huge slipstream to his teammate. Is this tactical? Mirko has sacrificed himself for his teammate. He's gifted a slipstream to Fanfurness and said, you go and get him. And he's sacrificed his own qualifying lap. That is why he went early. That is beautifully tactical to let his teammate give the best opportunity to get pole position. He's currently in P5. So Fanfurness, here we go. Has he done enough? You've got the 2 Ferraris in 1 and 2. You've got the other Ferrari coming through. That is Reese, a 121.8. He's gone unbelievably quicker. And he is still 2 tenths in front of his teammate. Here comes Fanfurness. He needs to out-qualify. Be right to the line. Fanfurness goes P3. He's in front of his championship rival. The 2 Haas drivers will come through as well. That is Jay's. That is Maxi Block. The other Ferrari of Dennis is going to be next. Then we have the Papayas. Here comes Dennis out of turn 16, down to the line, and he goes even quicker, but it's the McLarens. Be right, comes to the line, goes P2. He's in front of the Ferrari of Dennis. Lewis W stays P6. Then we have a couple more drivers, deadly to the line. The 2 Saubers, the Williams, the Red Bull. But it is AMS Reese that takes pole once again. Be right in P2, Dennis in P3, Fanfurness will be in P4. So first blood is drawn from the McLaren. Fanfurness has his work cut out here, but he's got an unbelievable teammate. So there you have it. AMS Reese takes pole position here in Abu Dhabi. B Wright takes P2. Hackmore in P3 on the second row of the grid. Then come the Mercedes. That is Fanfurness in P4 and Mirko in P5. Lewis W in P6 and Deadly in P7. Jeffy in P8 with Sam the Man alongside him in P9, well just behind him, and Jay's in P10. Then comes Super Turbo, Nick, Formula I, Mitch, Maxi Block, Nimblecat, Jabba and Epic OJ to complete the 18 drivers on the grid. Wow, what a Grand Prix we've got. 3.5 temps separate the top 5 drivers in this qualifying session. Get ready for this one. Season finale. A sprint race. We couldn't have had it any other way. This is going to be epic. And speaking of epic, So here we go. Get ready for the ultimate race. Possible race strategies. So AMS Mirko started on hards. That is absolutely tactical. I'm surprised McLaren haven't done a similar strategy and put one of their drivers on the hard compounds to stay out. So here we go for the final time here in Formula 7 Realistic for Season 7. McLaren have just been crowned Constructors' Champions. Now it's down to the Drivers' Championship. They are even on points, 330 points each between B. Wright and Fanfinus. Fanfinus led the championship for 13 weeks, and it's all come down to this. Here we go. Under the lights here in Abu Dhabi for round 19 here in Formula 7 Racing. And it's lights out and away we go. Reese did get a good start in the Ferrari. The McLaren will slot in behind him. Fanfinus is already up to P3. And in front of the Ferrari, he nearly goes into the back of the McLaren but stays away. He stays in P3. And the two championship contenders are right on the top of each other. Jeffy Boy in the Red Bull is off the track. There's been a collision. He's got damage. He's got a missing end plate. Back onto the track he goes. You've got the Alpine. You've got the Sauber going up the inside. That is Mitch Nimble. The Haas as well of Maxi Block getting right involved, but back on board with the leaders. The Ferrari of Reese leads to be right in P2. Fanfinus in P3. The Mercedes has got exactly where he needed to be, and that is right on the tail of B Right. So, moving down, here we go. Fanfinus is right on the rear diffuser of that McLaren in front. Is he going to go for it? He's emptying the tank. He's going to go for the move. No, he doesn't. He has absolutely emptied the tank here, Fanfinus. This is the plan. He knows his teammate's going to come into play at some point. And this is where the drama is going to shift. So, you've got a bit of a battle behind. That's the Williams going up the inside of the Alpine. And that was Super Turbo, and Jabber just jabbed him out the way. And now Jabber is trying to respond all over the back of that Williams. Nearly goes into the back of him. We go back on board with the race leader, Reese. DRS is enabled on lap 2 here at the Yas Marina circuit. This is everything we hoped for. All of the drivers still involved. That is Sam the Man in the Red Bull on the back of the McLaren of Mirko. Mirko is on a slower tyre compound. Fanfinus sets the fastest first sector. Beat Right on the back of that Scuderia. He'll get his foot down. He's just in front. And they have got a little bit more battery than that Mercedes behind. That rear wing is wide open. Is the McLaren going to go for that move down in towards turn 7? He doesn't. He backs out. That Mercedes is there. So is Dennis in that Ferrari. And they are keeping it very neat and tidy. Sam the Man is still optimistic that he'll get through on Mirko. You've got the Sauber. Only 4 attempts between them. Be right. That is Dennis setting the fastest Sector 2 time of anybody. 27 laps remaining. That was the McLaren that run a little bit wide at turn 10. And in towards turn 13 and 14 underneath the bridge into Latifi corner. And the Ferrari does lead to the Mercedes behind. If we wanted a race start, we absolutely got it. Super Turbo with that track limit. But it is Reese that still leads by 4 tenths of a second on lap 3. It is anybody's race, this. It really is. So Reese, as you can see, the fastest lap of the race so far. So Be Right into the slipstream with that DRS. Is he going to go for it this time around? He's not. Fanfinus now around half a second behind. Then you've got Dennis. Lewis W is still there. Do not count him out. He can come into play. What about Mirko? Sam the man has overtaken the Mercedes, but now Mirko is going to get that DRS, and the Red Bull driver is going to be overtaken. He's going to keep it nice and tight to the wall, but it's not going to be enough. Lewis sets the fastest Sector 2 time of anybody. There's a little warning there for Fanfurness beside his name. And Sam the man having to give that position back to Mirko. These hard compound tyres are killing Mirko a little bit, but they will come into play soon. When them medium compound tyres start to wear down, it will be all fair game for Mirko. He just cannot fall too far behind by scrapping with the Red Bull driver. He's got a job to do, and that is to help his teammate win the championship. So Reese still leading into turn 1. So around turn 2 and 3 through the right-hander, just ride to the apex. So down in towards turn 4 and 5. So that DRS will kick in. Mitch picked up a 3-second time penalty for track limits already. That's an early one for Mitch in P11. So Be Right is a lot closer this time. But once again, Reese keeping him at bay. Fanfurness and Dennis in and Lewis W all right there. And Reese is the pace setter at the moment. The Ferraris are really quick here this evening. Here comes Be Right. Be Right is chasing him down, and he moves in front of Reese for the race lead. And the Papaya at this moment in time will be crowned world champion, but there is a long way to go, and Fanfurness will not let him get away that easily. But Be Right is through on the Ferrari and into the lead of the Grand Prix, and Mitch is out. Safety car. Mitch is out. Huge crash, and the Sauber has binned it. The safety car is out, and all of the drivers are going to go into the pit lane, all the medium runners. That means Mirko will be the race leader, surely. Yeah, Mirko stays out, and so no, Mirko pits. Mirko is pitted. Sam the man has stayed out. Reese, Fanfurness, we need to get the running order here. You know what? Fanfurness has come out in front of Be Right. This is unbelievable. Be Right was the race leader going into the pit lane. He's come out behind Reese and Fanfurness. Fanfurness, as it stands, will be crowned world champion. What has happened in the pit lane to cause Be Right to lose the provisional lead? Incredible. And he got blocked by another team. So Be Right is now behind his championship rival after going into the pits in the lead. I am surprised to see every single driver go into the pits so early though. So this is really interesting now. Fanfurness will be licking his lips. He's going to be so happy. Sam the man is going to go into the pit lane just a lap later than everybody else. Nimblecat is going to stay out, and Nimblecat is going to be your race leader here in Abu Dhabi. And when it's all said and done here in Abu Dhabi, Nimblecat can turn around and say, I was a race leader in Formula 7 Realistic in that Racing Bull. So Nimblecat will get the safety car restart underway. The thing is, the drivers on the hards pitted for another fresh set of hards. And I think they all went for the same strategy. Mirko is now on hards. Oh, sorry, they started on the mediums. So Mirko was pitted for another set of hards. He started on the hards. Very interesting stuff. Jabba with damage. He has, and so has Nimblecat as well. He's got damage. Very minor damage though. Safety car is in this lap. So Nimble will get us underway. When the safety car goes in, Reese all over the back of him. So Reese waiting for the opportunity to get past. Fanfness will want to do the same thing. And they need to get some heat into them tyres. So Reese and Nimble will lead the safety car restart. Nimble in that Racing Bull is going to dictate the pace here. And off they go. Nimble goes. Reese follows. Then comes Fanfness, Be Right and Deadly. The track is clear. And Reese will have to be a bit clever here to get the move done. And you know that Nimble's got that little bit of damage. And Reese will move on through. So will Fanfness. Be Right in the McLaren. Really close to that Racing Bull. And the Papaya is now through as well. He's 8 tenths behind. And the Racing Bull just trying to stay there. He's got well in his rights to do so. So Reese is now your race leader once again. Fanfness in P2 as it stands. Fanfness will be crowned world champion of Formula 7 Realistic. Be Right is in P3 and he has a huge lock-up and he had to hold on to that McLaren car. And Fanfness will see that behind. And the heat into them tyres. Here comes Dennis. Nimble is still in P7. He's just in front of Mirko, who's catching up to him. Here comes the McLaren around the outside of the Racing Bull. And he does cling on. Next up will be Lewis W. But Fanfness currently in P2, chasing down Reese. If he goes into the lead of the Grand Prix, this is going to be ideal for the Mercedes driver. But it is Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren. And then you've got Dennis fighting with Deadly behind. They are 2 seconds off the front three. DRS is now enabled. And that is the Sauber that is through. And then Jeffy Boy as well, trying to get through on the sister car. But he's got to be patient. And Jeffy Boy needs to be a little bit more patient than that. So back on board with the leaders on lap 8. 21 laps remaining here in Abu Dhabi. It is Reese to Fanfness to Be Right. Remember, Be Right was in P1 when they went into the pit lane. He came out in P3 due to being blocked by drivers behind. Here comes the Mercedes. Is he going to look for a move? He's very close to Reese now. Be Right is there. Mirko on the back of Dennis. These two are going to start going at it like cat and mouse. Mirko is now on the same strategy as the drivers, so he's not going to play a part in this, I don't think, unless he stays out a little bit longer than the rest of them. Fanfness not able to get close enough to try a move. There goes Mirko on Dennis, and the Mercedes driver is through on the Ferrari and up to P4. 2.2 is the gap, and the chase is now on to the McLaren in front. So that's a lot to think about for Be Right. He's got one Mercedes behind and one Mercedes in front, and the one in front is his championship rival. And they are evenly matched on points. 330 points apiece going into this feature race. Resets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. 3 incredible drivers, 3 incredible names. Reese, Fanfness, Be Right. They are 3-2-1 in the championship. Well, 3-1-1 actually, because they are joint on points. But any one of these drivers would have deserved to be world champion this season. But it's come down to the two of them. It's come down to Fanfness and Be Right. And any of these drivers win here this evening, it is absolutely warranted. So The Ferrari still holding off that Mercedes momentarily. Here comes Fanfurness. He's getting a lot closer. And then he's got that McLaren just behind him as they come through turns 6 and 7. Back onto the throttle. You can see how close the Papaya is to that rear wing. DRS enabled. And the Mercedes AMG Petronas driver is currently the world champion as it stands. But for how long? We are on lap 9. Still a lot to go. Cheers, Ryan. Appreciate it, mate. So, on board with Fanfurness. We'll stay and see what he can do with the leader. Through turn 13. Underneath the bridge we go. The Ferrari still edging ahead. And he's so quick on the exit. Reese is unbelievable when it comes to getting that grip down and getting onto the throttle. And none of the drivers can just keep up with that. They do have warnings though. Be right, crystal clear at the moment. Half a second between Reese and Fanfurness. So around turn 4, down towards turn 5. The Sauber also into the top 10 and in the points. His teammate is out, caused the safety car on lap 4, and that is what has changed the running order. And look how close these are. Half a second separate the top 3. And Fanfurness is looking very pacey here, so just bear that in mind. AMS Mirko has the fastest lap. Remember to check out our sponsors, Sim Racing Setups. You can use the code F7R on checkout for a 5% discount. And also use the link in the description below to go and check out some Fanatec stuff. And then, unfortunately, you don't get a discount, but we do get a percentage of every sale. Which, obviously, all goes back into the league, as every single penny ever does. It actually goes on trophies. And everything else that we pay to run the league. That is B right. That is B right that is through on Fanfurness. What has happened? Has Fanfurness made a mistake? Fanfurness is down to P3 and B right is through and into P2. Now, as it stands, B right will be crowned world champion. It is all changed again. B right sets the fastest sector 1 time. There's no damage, not on my screen, there's not anyway. But Fanfurness is starting to lose a little bit of time. Did he make a big mistake? So, DRS enabled. It is Ferrari to McLaren to Mercedes now. So, for the 4th time this evening, the championship lead has changed hands. So, around turn 8, DRS enabled once more for the McLaren. Is he going to go for the move? I don't think he is. He's not. He's just playing it safe. His battle at the moment is with Fanfurness behind. So, Reese, the race leader. And down in towards turn 12 we go. Ferrari still leads to McLaren, to the Mercedes. I want to know where that overtake was done. A little snap there of understeer for Fanfurness. What about that Sauber in P9? He's doing a good job. That is Nick. You know what? Nick has actually been brilliant. So all the tyres are on the exact same age. Yeah, Nick has just found a new, lease of life since going to the Sauber, and I think Alvaro has nurtured Nick to be an incredible person, an incredible driver. And when he made that decision for Nick to go into the Sauber to try and get that racing back and get that love for the sport back, I think he's absolutely done that because he has performed so well since moving to Sauber. So back on board with the front 3. It is Reese to be right to Fanfurness as it's been for the majority of the season. So on board with the Papaya, and that is Mirko that is through on Dennis. So the Mercedes up to P4. So So Mirko and Dennis seem to just having their own battle at the back at the moment. I say at the back is because the front three are pretty clear of the rest of the pack at the moment. What about Maxi in the Haas on the back of that Williams? So Super Turbo currently inside the points in that Williams. He's been brilliant in that Williams, actually, Super Turbo all season. He should be very proud. Nimble Cat currently in P15, but remember, he's still got a pit. He stayed out, and he's going to have a couple of sets of free tyres to use if need be. He was the race leader on the safety car restart. Yes, you heard that correctly. Nimble Cat was the race leader. So here we go. Be right backs out. Should he have gone for it? They were 9 tenths clear of Fanfurness, and every time he doesn't go for it, he brings that Mercedes back into play. It's so, you've got to think about everything at this stage of the race. And Fanfurness and Be Right, they both don't want to go for the overtake on that Ferrari. They've had opportunities, but they don't want to take them at all. And I think that's because they just don't want to go racing with that Ferrari and take any chances in this Grand Prix. We are 13 laps in as we go in towards turn 12 and 13. So AMS Reese leads to Be Right to Fanfurness. And you see the aerial shots, phenomenal stuff. So the fastest lap of the race so far is AMS Reese with a 1:25.867. I think it's actually Mirko with a 1:25.867. So once again, the Ferrari just in front of that McLaren, who's going to have the slipstream and that DRS. You're right, Bjorn. Nick is doing incredibly well. Jay in that Haas into the pit lane to go onto them fresh tyres. Down in towards turn 6 we go. The Ferrari just in front of the McLaren, but it is getting very close. Here comes the orange of the papaya on that scarlet red of the Ferrari. So down towards turn 9, he is getting closer. He's using the DRS, but he's not close enough to make the move. And you can see Reese is actually recharging the battery. These drivers don't want to overtake him, and he is taking full opportunity of this and just saying, yeah, I'll recharge my battery if you don't want to go for the move. So the other Ferrari of Dennis on the back of Mirko. So lap 14. So the tyres at the moment, 37% wear for these drivers. Fanfurness will know in the back of his mind that he has to do something before the end of this race. But there's a long way to go. We're just over halfway. The lead of the championship has changed hands 4 times during this Grand Prix. So anything can happen. Here comes Be Right in the McLaren. He is now going to go for the move. He doesn't. He pulls out. The Ferrari gives him the space. The McLaren is up the inside. They go wheel to wheel. The race leader against the championship leader. And the McLaren is through. The move only a world champion could make. But the Ferrari will come right back at him, and Fanfurness, who's been the championship leader for 13 weeks, is now bridged the gap between the front two, and he is now all over the back of that McLaren. This is a championship fight. So Reese back into the lead. Be Right did chance it. It didn't pay off, and Fanfurness is now closer than he's ever been in the past 5 laps. Fanfurness is into the pit lane. Fanfurness picks up a penalty. A 3-second time penalty on his way into the pit lane. That is massive. Be Right and Reese stay out. Fanfurness is into the pit lane. He's got to do something. He's going for the undercut. And the remaining 13 laps are all on his hands now. Fanfitness is ready, the undercut is on, and he's going to go for it. One of the longest pit stops on the F1 calendar, and Fanfitness will know that. He's got to do something. He wants to be world champion, and this is how he goes and gets it. He is going to come out just behind Williams. He needs to disperse of this Williams ASAP, and that's exactly what he does. Through on Super Turbo. Super Turbo will come down the inside. Who's going to get the DRS? They do touch. The Williams just squeezes the Mercedes. But it is Fanfitness that's through. Who got the DRS? I think it was the Williams that got the DRS. And he's going to come right back at him. Super Turbo is back in front. And Fanfitness will be absolutely livid about this. A championship fight going on, and he is now battling with a Williams in P11 when he's gone for an undercut. This is not what he wants. The DRS will be enabled. He will move ahead, and finally he'll get away from that Williams of Super Turbo. So that is it for Fanfitness. He is clear. What is Reese going to do? He's into the pit lane, so is B. Wright. The Ferrari and the McLaren are in. Dennis stays out. Mirko stays out. Deadly stays out. Lewis will stay out. Jeffy Boy also stays out. Where is Fanfitness? He went for the undercut. He's now gone right around the outside of Maxi Block. He's been put into a lot of traffic here, Fanfitness. This has not been great for him, but the undercut might still work. But he's had to work for it. My goodness me, has Fanfitness had to work for this if he pulls this off. Jeffy Boy's out. Jeffy Boy is out. He's crashed it on the pit exit. And how has he not took that Ferrari and McLaren out? Wow. Safety car is out. How did nobody crash into him on the way out of the pit lane? The stewards will be looking over everything immediately, Salute. But we'll have a look at it. I was on board with him. What seemed to happen? So, a safety car is out. I don't think it changes much, to be honest, but it does mean that Reese will stay in front of B. Wright. Where is Fanfitness? Fanfitness is back in front. So, Jeffy Boy has crashed, and it means that Fanfitness is back in front of Reese and B. Wright. This is awful news. So Fanfitness will be the provisional leader. Oh, and that is a Mercedes that's slowing down. That is Fanfitness. And that is a Red Bull on his way into the pit lane. What is going on between the Ferrari and the Mercedes here? They're not going to come out in the lead here. What is going on? This is really bad. This is going to cause massive delays. And I don't know if they're going to come out in the lead here. They're not. So what Fanfitness has done there is he slowed them down and brought Mirko out in front of Reese and B. Wright on fresher tyres. Wow. Wow. Banana, I'm not going to speculate or say on anything. Obviously, if that's the case, report it. And if a driver has deliberately slowed down to let a driver pit and get out of the pit lane, then obviously the stewards will look at that. But at the moment, we concentrate on the race. And the race is Dennis leading, Fanfitness in P2, Mirko in P3. So Mirko has actually now let his teammate through. Yeah, Banana, it's actually in the rules regarding slowing down to let a teammate box. But I don't know if that was the case. I can't speculate. I don't know if that was the case. So I will not comment any further. So Fanfitness has been let through by his teammate. Clever racing here from Mercedes. So Mirko will have to slow the pack down behind. Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit... I completely agree with all the comments. The only thing I would maybe be a bit concerned about is the slowing down and the overtaking of each other, and then slowing down again, and the more overtaking, and then obviously creating a gap for people to pit and come out in front. And that's the only bit I'd be concerned about. At the moment, I've not seen anything that would be untoward, so we've got a good race on our hands. So, Dennis to Fanf to Mirko to Be Right to Reese. Oh, Reese had an illegal overtake, which was caused by the braking of the Mercedes as well. So we need to be careful here, guys. Let's keep it clean. Let's get to the end of the race. Let's have a good championship fight, and may the best driver win. That is what it's all about, guys. No foul play in this one. We love a good race in Abu Dhabi. Let's go. So Jabba picking up a 3-second time penalty. Fanfurness in a beautiful position here in P2. Salute, that is absolutely not the case. That's a very laughable statement. I'm just saying, that would never ever happen, ever. So let's carry on with the race. Nobody would ever get a penalty for having a negative delta. So here we go. Dennis leading, Fanfurness in P2, Mirko in P3. I'm enjoying the race. I don't care who wins. I'm enjoying the race. May the best driver win. And it's got drama. It's the sixth time now that the championship has changed hands in this race. We've got 10 laps to go. Let's get a good end to this season. So Fanfurness has got that little bit of a safety net. He's got Mirko behind him. Jesus, Lee, what are you going on about now? what are you going on about? What's even happened? What are you saying? Yeah, but what are you actually saying? What do you mean, Puller 2021, I'm going to be leaving? What's actually happened for that comment to even arise? What do you think's happened? Or what are you worried about that's happened? I've seen nothing yet. Even that stuff under the safety car stuff. If he's in negative delta, there's nothing wrong at all. Let's go racing. Let's go racing. Yeah, team statement going. Let's go racing, man. This is a great race. Obviously, the stewards will, if anything's reported, the stewards will look at it. Don Dedge will take action, and that is that. At the moment, we've got a brilliant race on our hands. So, 9 laps when the safety car goes in. So, Dennis leads to the 2 Mercedes. The safety car is in this lap. The drama has begun. There's always going to be drama, by the way. There's always going to be drama. I'm not getting involved with it, but there's always going to be drama when it's so close to the championship. But I'm loving it. I'm loving the action. I'm loving the drama and everything that goes with it. It's like a Netflix documentary. So the Ferrari will get the safety car restart underway. And I tell you, one person that would have loved to have seen that scarlet red in the lead would have been Alvaro Chabas. So big shout out to my guy who has been a huge part of Realistic for a very long time. A massive shout out to you. I hope you're enjoying. If you're watching anywhere, I'm seeing that Ferrari in front. Been a massive part of this league for a very long time. So here we go. The Ferrari will get us underway when he is ready. Fanfurness is raring to go. So is Mirko. So is Be Right. There we go. The Ferrari and the Mercedes are off. We go racing once again. 9 laps to go here at the Yas Marina circuit here in Abu Dhabi. So Dennis leads to Fanfurness to Mirko to Be Right. 1 lap 21 of 29. All ready and waiting. Fanfitness already nearly a second behind. Be Right is on the back of Mirko. And you can see him getting closer and closer. Remember, Mirko is on their mediums, so he's going to be on the quicker tyre to the end of the race. Well, he should be anyway. So, Be Right bridging that gap to that Mercedes in front. It's getting very tasty. Is he going to be able to get that overtake? He's got to get past one Mercedes and then another. He's shown pace in qualifying, but so has Fanfitness and Mirko. Fanfitness 7 tenths behind Dennis, but 7 tenths in front of his teammate. Then you've got Be Right just chasing down that other Mercedes. It's anybody's championship from here. We've seen it change hands 6 times in this Grand Prix with 8 laps to go. Down underneath the bridge section, that Mercedes trying to hold that McLaren behind around turn 14 and down towards turn 15. They are now around 8 or 9 tenths behind the other Mercedes. That is Reet in P5. Hackmore sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. They are now a second behind. They are losing DRS to Fanfitness, but that does mean that Be Right will get DRS on Mirko, but Mirko is doing an incredible job to hold off Be Right at the moment and do a splendid job for his teammate. But then he works his way back in to get that DRS. But Be Right is all over the back of Mirko. Can he get his foot down earlier? Back onto the throttle, into the slipstream. Goes to McLaren. Here he comes. Can Mirko hold on? I think he's going to be able to because they've both got DRS. They both come down the straight. But it is Mirko that stays in front for now. Fanfitness stays in P2. At the moment, Fanfitness is world champion. Oh no, he has a time penalty, so at the moment it is still Be Right that is world champion, but that is going to be disputed like everything else at the end. But at the moment on track, it is Be Right that is world champion due to that time penalty. Dennis in P1, Fanfitness P2, Mirko. Then you've got Be Right trying to get through on that McLaren. You've got Reese watching all this. He's got the best seat in the house as we go in towards turn 12 and 13. Be Right needs to get past Mirko. Fanfitness needs to get a gap on Mirko, and Mirko is the man in the middle at the moment. Dennis leads to the Mercedes in P2, to the second Mercedes in P3. Then we've got the orange of the papaya of Be Right as we go down in towards turn 1. Once again, Mirko nearly a second away from his teammate, nearly losing that DRS. Doing a great job holding off that McLaren behind around turn 3, down towards turn 4 and 5. Once again, he gets within that DRS range. In towards turn 5 we go. They'll both get DRS on that Mercedes in front. 6.5 laps to go into the slipstream. Goes the McLaren on the Mercedes. Mirko is going to hold off once again. The McLaren is getting very close. Here he comes to take the outside line. Be Right has gone for the move. The McLaren gives him a little push and a shove. They are wheel to wheel. The McLaren is through. The Mercedes is off. Here comes Reese. They've all got DRS. That is the McLaren and the Mercedes that touch. Mirko is back through. Gives the papaya a bit of a shove. And it is drama already. Be Right and Lewis W. Lewis W is now getting involved. Reese is behind the other McLaren. And Be Right is back behind Mirko, who is a second behind his teammate. Lewis W is now starting to get a bit aggressive. He knows he needs to do something to help his teammate. Be Right is still stuck behind Mirko on lap 23 of 29. And at the moment, he will still be crowned world champion. But if Mirko does what he set out to do, it will go the way of Dutch. It will go the way of Fanfitness. And it will go the way of the Mercedes. So here we go. Fanfitness is going to have that DRS on Dennis. So Fanfitness looking a lot quicker than that Ferrari now with 5 laps to go. Mirko and Be Right. Remember, Be Right will get DRS on Mirko now. So is he going to go for it here or is he going to wait? No, the papaya is going to go for it. Is he going to go for it? He is. Down in towards turn 6. And it is the McLaren that moves ahead. Fanfness can't make the move on Dennis. Be Right gets the exit, but Mirko is going to come right back at him with that DRS, gets the better exit. Mirko takes the wider line, and Be Right is back behind him, and their battling is just moving them further and further away from Fanfness. The gap is now 2 seconds between Fanfness and Be Right, with 5 laps to go. Be Right's got to be clever about this if he wants to do anything, because I tell you he's being clever, and that is the Mercedes team. So Dennis still leading in that Ferrari. The only thing I would say is Mirko's on the mediums, so they are going to fall off shortly in comparison to the hards. But is it going to be before the end of the race, or is he going to make it? 5 laps to go. 2 seconds is the gap between Mirko and Fanfness. And it's Sergio Perez-esque style here. So around turn 3, down towards turn 4 we go. So in towards turn 5, the McLaren once again will be behind the Mercedes. He's got to time this perfectly. Mirko is just keeping that battery. The McLaren has got the DRS, and I think Mirko wants him to go for it. And he is going to go for it. The McLaren once again. Mirko is there. He's going to go later on the brakes, take the outside line, and then he's going to switch it back up the inside. And every single time these two fight, they are losing time to Fanfness. And here he comes with that DRS. He's going to empty the tank. And once again, Mirko is going to move through. And Be Right has got a fight on his hands here. He keeps going early for that overtake. And it's not doing him well. It's not doing him any favours. And that 3-second gap is nearly upon us. Fanfness has nearly got back that championship lead. Salute, please. I'm trying to commentate. I don't know if we're going to have outcomes. I've got to do all this, do interviews, do everything else. I've got to be up for half 4 for it. I'm going to try and get everything done tonight. So here comes Lewis W, Be Right, Mirko, and the gap now means that Fanfness will be crowned world champion as it stands. Mirko doing what he needed to do for his teammate. Fanfness is still on the back of Dennis as well. So you never know, Fanfness could potentially even move in to the lead of this Grand Prix. And Mirko doing a great job at defending, and all of this has been caused from that safety car. And Mirko came out in front of Be Right. Be Right has actually been in the lead twice when going into the pit lane, and come out behind Mirko and Fanfness on both occasions. So it's been really unlucky for the McLaren. The Mercedes is slowing down a lot there through the chicane to try and hold up, and he did exactly what he needed to do. But we need to be careful here. So Fanfness is now really close to the back of that Ferrari. So Mirko slowed down into that section, kept the McLaren behind. It is getting very spicy now. So Reese is having a problem. He can't shift. That's really unfortunate. What about Super Turbo on the back of Maxi Block? The Italian on the Belgian. But we've got to stay on board with this lead. This is what it's all about. So Fanfness, what about Be Right? The gap is dwindling away. Their mediums, and their mediums are a little bit more worn now than the hards. But they were a lot fresher in the first place. So 3.4 is the gap between Fanfness and Be Right, with 2.5 laps remaining. So down in towards turn 5 we go. The McLaren knew that he would have a hard battle on his hands, especially against 2 quick Mercedes drivers. Lewis W has helped out as much as possible. Be Right, is he going to go for the move, or is he going to back out? He's going to go for the move up the inside once again of turn 6. And he is going to move in front of Mirko. Mirko goes behind. Be Right gets the better exit. This might be enough to keep him ahead. He might finally get enough. Here comes the DRS, but he is going to absolutely empty the tank here. Mirko, Be Right is going to take the inside line. No, he's not. Mirko takes the inside line. Be Right stays in front. And finally, Be Right is through, but he's 3.5 seconds away from Fanfness. Now Lewis W has to step up if he wants to help his McLaren teammate. But Mirko has done his teammate Fanfness an absolute solid job here. A warning there for B. Wright. The gap already down to 3 seconds. He's opening up on Mirko, who's on them old mediums. The chase is now on. I cannot believe it. The chase is now on. 2 laps to go. So, Dennis leads to Fanfinus, to B. Wright, to Mirko, who is now falling behind B. Wright. So, the McLaren 2.8 is the gap to Fanfinus. Remember, Fanfinus has that 3-second time penalty. Reese is into the pit lane. He's having issues with that car. At the moment, B. Wright will be crowned world champion, and the closer and closer that he gets to Fanfinus is better for him. But Mirko is coming back now. Mirko is coming back. He's absolutely flying. He backs out at the last minute. B. Wright needs to stay ahead, and Mirko's got a good exit. Mirko might move back ahead of B. Wright here. This is awful news as they go on to the final lap, and that might be it. And B. Wright moves over. Mirko goes through, and B. Wright is behind the Mercedes again. All going on to the final lap, and Mirko is back in front, and he's going to try and hold up that McLaren again. And you can see how much he's slowing down in the corners. You need to be careful here, though. It's really dangerous. We need to be careful, guys. We do what we need to do for our teammates, but keep it safe. So around turn 15 and 16 we go. Fanfinus at the moment is going to be crowned world champion. He's on the back of Dennis in that Ferrari. You've got Mirko to B. Wright. B. Wright needs to get through Mirko to have a chance here. But at the moment, it is going to be Fanfinus that is crowned world champion. And we are on the final lap. Here we go. Dennis leads to Fanfinus, to Mirko, to B. Wright. B. Wright is just behind, and Mirko is trying to let the McLaren through, and that's exactly what he does. And the gap is now 3.9. And here we come, and it is the McLaren that got the DRS, and the Mercedes is emptying the tank here to try and get in front. The gap is 3.9. It's down to 4 seconds now. Fanfinus is still in P2. B. Wright will not have the DRS. He will not have the battery. Mirko has saved it for this occasion. The gap is 3.8. Mirko is going to move on through. B. Wright is going to go behind that Mercedes. That Mercedes is going to slam on the brake pedal as he's done for the remaining 10 laps of this race. But Dennis in the Ferrari has drove a brilliant race here in Abu Dhabi. The McLaren is going to try and go from Mirko, goes around the outside. He is back through. What an overtake from the McLaren driver, but it is Dennis that is going to go through and win here in Abu Dhabi. It will be Fanfinus that comes through to be crowned world champion here in Formula 7 Realistic. It's not. Why is it not? Why is he down to P6? I thought he only had 1 penalty. He's got 6. Why has he got 6? B. Wright is world champion. Obviously, as we await outcomes, but B. Wright, as it stands, is world champion. Wow. And I was celebrating as it was Fanfinus, but no, on track at the moment, it is B. Wright. At the moment on track, it is B. Wright that is world champion. Wow, what a race. What a race. I know the steward's room is going to be filled with stuff, so, God, we'll try and get that sorted ASAP. There you have it, the Belgian driver on top. It is the British driver in P2 and crowned world champion as it stands. I don't really know what to do with interviews here.
What did you say?
Absolutely peanut.
You don't know the what
We will, Dennis. 1 minute, let me try and mute everyone because I need to do interviews 1 second. So, Hackmore is the race winner. with the fastest lap. B Right takes P2 in his crown world. Trubo. Can he just mute his mic 2 seconds while I have to go through the standings? Hackmore is the world champion. B Right takes P2. Sorry. Hackmore takes the race victory. B Right is crowned world champion in P2 at the moment. Mirko in P3. Trubo. Oh, God, wow. What a race. Wow, wow, wow. Salute, please. Give me a minute. Let me just get the race done and then I will try and see what we can do. Right. So, I will interview B Right and Fanfinus. Fanfinus actually jumped out the lobby, so I don't know what's going on. So I will interview. We don't know who's going to be crowned world champion yet, which is not how I like to leave it. But we will start off with B Right because he finished in P2. B Right, provisional world champion as it stands. In fact, what I'll do, I'll interview Hackmore as the race winner first. Dennis, what a result in that Ferrari. What a race victory in Abu Dhabi. Just talk us through that one, mate. Dennis? You can't hear us? Oh, it's that bloody push to talk thing. 1 minute. Dennis, can you hear me? I can't, I'm on PC, Reese. I can't get on the PlayStation. I don't think Dennis can hear me. Can B Right, can you hear me? Right, we will move on to your provisional world champion, your P2 driver at the moment. Ben, there's a lot to unfold from that race. At the moment, you are P2. Barring obviously penalty removals and all that, I have no idea what's going to happen at the moment, but just talk us through how that race was for you.
Yeah, it just didn't go our way.
Yeah.
That was it, really. I know he got 6 seconds, but yeah, I don't know how many warnings he's actually got. He's actually left the lobby, so it's like, that's assuming the way he's left, he didn't even want to give an interview, so he must know. There was something a little bit funny with the safety car, trying to get Mirko come out ahead of him. I don't really know too much about that, what happens. That's obviously what's on our part. But as it stands at the moment, obviously delighted to do the double again. I don't know if it is legit. I mean, there's nothing, absolutely nothing from Salute. Only Mirko saying congratulations. So I don't really know what's going on their side.
Yeah, it was a weird one. The championship changed hands 7 times during that race. It changed hands 7 times. I have no idea what happened at the end. All I know is Fanfinus had 6 seconds. They're saying that he shouldn't have had 6 seconds.
Right.
Yes, the safety car situation. I have no idea what was going on there, but there was a lot of mayhem going on. It seemed like the Mercedes slowed. The Ferrari and the McLaren got illegal overtakes, then he slowed again, and then his teammate came out in front of all 3 of you. It was a bit...
He slowed down 3 times. Yeah, he slowed down 3 times in a row. That was his problem, and that's what I think. I think that's maybe what they what has happened. I mean, I'm absolutely delighted, but I know it can be taken away from me like that with reporting. But yeah, assuming of what I've just read and seen, it looks like it's legit. But we'll see, you know. I'm absolutely delighted. I was really nervous. I was actually really bricking it coming into this race.
Yeah.
Fanfinus has led all season long. And to come and maybe snatch it away from him is incredible. I mean, this is how it's been all season long. He has joined back now, but yeah, we have to see. We have to see. It still might be a P2. But to my team as well, you know, Lewis and Jamie, what an incredible job they have done all season long. We've become constructors champions, I think.
Yeah, you are constructors, yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So, but there's a few things I don't want to get my hopes up to yet. It's a shame it has to go down to that, and we still have to wait. But no, listen, Mirko did an incredible job as well. You know, to take nothing away from him to hold me up, I had to do everything I could to defend. He had so much straight line speed. But we will see. We will see. You know, unfortunately, it's going to go to down to the stewards, so it's all on them boys.
Yeah, well, it was a great performance, mate. It was so good. Obviously, there was so much teamwork involved. It was just class, absolutely class from start to finish. Obviously, the Mercedes were working really well together. They were doing exactly what
They
they
were,
needed to
yeah.
do. That must have been really frustrating at times to be sat
It was.
behind Mirko. And
It
you went
was.
into the pit. You went into your pit stops in the lead at both times.
Yeah, that was the shame, you know. I had the pace today, but you just never know how it's going to go. Me and Reese almost DNF coming out of the pit lane as well. We had to take
I
a avoid a
know.
measure on the Red Bull. But no, listen, if it goes to Fant, he deserves it 100%. He's done an incredible job this season, so has Mercedes. Give it to Ferrari as well. They've been brilliant. I know at times we've all been at each other's throats and there's been hard done bys and things like that, a bit of a falling out, but I think we've all repaired that now. I've got really close again with the boys of Reese and Dennis, Mirko and Fam. I couldn't ask for any more. If McLaren takes both, it's incredible. I've done it again, the double, which is tier one and realistic. But if I haven't, then huge congratulations to Fanfinus as well. So yeah, we shall see.
Yeah, well done, Ben. And if you are world champion, congratulations. If not, you should be very, very proud
I
of the
appreciate it. It'd be
season that
nice to
you've
get
had, mate.
Fanfinus's view as well. He's just drawing back, so he deserves to give his view as well. But no, thank you very much, and cheers, Nathan.
Cheers, Ben. Thank you very much, mate. Well done. So I will move on. So that is potentially your world champion right there. We will move on to Fanfinus. Fanfinus, what a race! You might be crowned world champion. We're yet to see. We don't know how it's going to go. Just talk us through that race and how much love and respect you've got for your teammate right now.
He probably has muted his microphone in game. I have to say.
Oh god. Well, seeing as though you're here, Dennis, what a race, what a performance, what a Grand Prix victory. How was that one for you, mate?
To be honest, I'm a bit disappointed in myself because normally I'm known for a strong race pace, and this time it was the opposite. I had better qualifying pace than race pace, and I did a lot of practice, but I couldn't find more in the Ferrari to be quicker in the race. So taking this win with a lucky safety car, I take it, to be honest. I was also afraid in the sprint race with Ben on the outside, and then during the main race with Fantonius, so I didn't want to be involved with the championship fight, so I drove my own race. In the end, I pushed hard, and yeah, I got a win luckily with a safety car.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, just want to point out there, you actually got my driver of the day, Dennis. I thought your performance was brilliant to get that race win. I know you said you didn't have great race pace, but your strategy paid off. Your battling, the way you edged it out to the front, and to hold off that Mercedes, who was right up the back of you for the majority of that final stint in that race, was really really good. Were you at any point concerned about the Mercedes behind?
I was for a long period during the race behind Mirko, and I saw that he had incredible top speed. Even with DRS and ERS, I couldn't catch him. So I was a little bit afraid that Fantonius had the same setup, but
Right,
it
yeah.
didn't. I think it had a little bit more wings. So once I saw on the straight that I was like on the same top speed as him, I had confidence in myself. But yeah, even though with the safety car, both championship drivers still in it, I didn't want to risk it much, so I was driving my own race.
No, I don't blame you, mate. Trying to stay well out of it. Well, it was a great race from you, a brilliant result, a brilliant race victory, and a great driver of the day. So well done to you, Dennis.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Well done. So there you have it. I'm not going to be able to interview Fanfinus. If he is crowned world champion, I will absolutely get him on a sort of podcast with him and Ben, and we'll talk through the whole situation of Abu Dhabi. I'm going to set up all the podcast stuff again. So like, I think I've still got it on here. So like the podcast screens, I just need to get all the overlays back on there. So just sort of like this, and we'll get Ben and We'll get Ben and Fanfinis in, and we'll discuss the whole race with them too. No matter who's the champion, they absolutely deserve it. Going even on points going into the final race, they both deserve to be crowned world champion, and they should be very proud of what they've achieved this season. Thank you all so much for watching. It's been a fantastic season to Formula 7 Realistic. It's been amazing. Thank you all so much for tuning in and staying with us, and all the team principals. I just want to shout out all the team principals because they are the unsung heroes of Formula 7 Realistic. They're the people that run everything. They're the people that get their drivers. They're the ones who sort everything out and, work with their teams and create strategies and everything else that goes with it. So a big shout out to all the team principals that have been a part of this throughout the season, and well done to all of you guys and your teams. Well done to all the drivers and everybody else that's been a part of this incredible season. And thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. I will get you the results as soon as I have them, and I will get into the stewards room straight away. But from me, it's goodbye. I will see you on Sunday for the final race of the season in Tier 1, 2, and 3. Have a great week, everybody. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next one.